If you enjoy my content, leave a like and subscribe. Also, remember to comment down below any suggestion you may have for the next servant or topic you would like me to cover. Welcome everyone to another episode of Fate Grand Order Servant War Room. This is Holy Grail, and I'll be discussing how your favorite servants would handle an actual Holy Grail War. Because you never know, maybe one day you're walking down the street and BAM! It's time to love. Actually don't, she'll kill you if you try.
さあ、情欲の矢を放ちましょう。もはや私に体はなく、すべてはつながり虚空と果てる。永遠のたりたい愛の星海、サンサーラ・カーマ。
Kama is a 5-star assassin servant released with the current Oko event. She plays the role of the main antagonist. I'll also state that Kana is a unique servant that under normal circumstances would not be summonable, but due to things that happened in the Oko event, she became summonable in Chaldea. So, if by some miracle or curse you manage to summon Kama into a Holy Grail War, how would she fare? I'm actually going to switch the order for her. This is because her personality is directly tied to one of her skills, and if I don't explain her skill first, then her personality doesn't make much sense. So, stats wise, Kama is slightly above average. While her stats are not breathtaking, they are still quite high for an assassin, and her NP being EX is pretty scary. As for skills, Kama has 7 skills, an insane number for assassins. Magic resistance, rank A. Man, even non-knight classes have magic resistance nowadays. Casters really are the worst class. Anyway, at this rate, Kama is untouchable by modern magecraft, and even magecraft from the Age of Gods would have difficulty affecting her. Riding rank A. Kama can ride pretty much anything with the exception of dragons. Why does she have riding? Is this an innuendo? Independent manifestation rank C. It's an upgraded version of independent action that allows servants to manifest independently from a master. However, in Kama's case, due to her being unmotivated, the skill is not really functioning properly. That said, this skill does have extra effects of resisting instant death abilities and resisting mental debuffs, which are still in effect for Kama. Divine Core of the Love God, rank B. Much like other Divine Core skills, it grants her practically immunity to all mental interference. Her body doesn't change no matter how much she trains or slacks off, as well as granting Divinity, which gives her bonuses against unique defenses. However, there's an extra aspect to it due to being the core of the God of Love. As a goddess that loves others, her physical appearance actually changes to fit others' tastes. Not only that, but she herself can control her body, meaning that she can change out of her own accord or let it change by itself to fit her target's preferences. That said, the change can't be outside of what her vessel is. That means that while she can change her age and size, she can't change things such as hair and eye color as they are part of the body. That said, it's actually unknown if she can change the gender, as it does seem that the skill hints at the possibility. But for now, let's just assume that she can't change the body's gender. This means that this skill allows Kama to change both her mind and body to match her target of love. You love mature women? She got you covered. Like feisty teenagers? She has it too. Like little girls? What is wrong with you, you sick person? Blessing of the Goddess, rank B. Unlike most skills, this skill is actually an active skill that Kama can use, and in normal circumstances, it would be a healing skill for her target. However, because Kama is an evil goddess, this skill is selfish in nature, as rather than healing the target, she steals the target's life force to heal herself. It's quite similar to Succubus Drain abilities in popular media. 1 without body, rank EX. It's a skill that's not well explained, as it only describes its origin, which is that Kama was burned by Shiva and became the universe. In-game, it provides guts and a buff to her attack. So what this skill at least seems to apply is that Kama is immortal to some degree, as being a being whose body is the universe. It's very likely that destroying her body isn't enough to kill her, but that's just assumptions, so I'll assume that this skill is just a stronger version of battle continuation. However, this skill also seems to be related to her adult's form, arms and legs, meaning that the more in tune she is with this skill, the more her body will become the starry universe. Mara Papias, rank EX. Another skill that's not well explained. It allows Kama to switch herself with Mara, her Demon King facet, but it doesn't explain what that actually does. In-game, it's a skill that does a lot of things, debuffs enemies, buffs herself, but also grants her class advantage against alter egos. So this skill might be something similar to a skill that just lets her have multiple class skills, which would explain why she has magic resistance and riding as an assassin. And finally, her noble phantoms, which technically there's only one, but they can manifest differently depending on her form. Kama Samuhana. It's an arrow that will cause anyone stabbed by it to fall in love. That's really all there is to it. However, due to trauma, Kama does not want to use this noble phantom and will kill you if you force her to use it. That said, due to her nature of an evil goddess, she's not against using it on loving couples just to create chaos between them. As for her other version, Sansara Kama, this noble phantom is only available to her in her mature form, which is the one closest to the depraved Kama aspect. So she'll only use this noble phantom if she enters this form on purpose or you yourself prefer mature women. I'm not exactly sure what it does, but from what I understand, this version causes the target to enter into a more depraved and uncontrollable form of love. Kama does not have an issue with using this version unlike the previous one either. Now that the noble phantom are out of the way, I need to talk about her fighting style, which I normally wouldn't need to do, but in her case I do because not only does it change depending on the form, some forms are clearly stronger than others. So, in her child and teenager version, her main weapon is a bow and arrow, but as a teenager she does already gain an extra weapon which is her spear-like pillar. However, in her adult form her bow and arrows are gone, and her arms and legs become the bow and arrows themselves. At the same time, she now wields the spear with the mighty fire that burned her to death. So, overall, she comes off as a powerful servant with multiple forms, but it's clear that her mature form is by far the strongest of them, while also being the most dangerous for the master. Now that you know that she has multiple forms, let's talk about her personality, because it also changes depending on her form. Now, there is a core of Kama that's present in all of the forms. Kama suffers from trauma from when she used her arrow on Shiva and got burned alive. As such, she really hates using her arrows for the sake of others. What this means is that if it's her who wants to use it, there's no issue. But if you're the one who's asking her to use it, then we will have an issue. She will kill anyone who treats her like Cupid and asks her to use her arrow as she doesn't want to get involved in any love nonsense. That said, she does love the idea of getting in the way of loving couples. Regardless of form, she has sadistic tendencies, loves teasing and playing with others as well as getting in their way. Now, as for each of her forms, her child form has child tendencies, such as loving candy and sweet treats, but behaves very much like a brat. Her teenager form is likely her safest form. Surprisingly, it's when her sadistic tendencies are at the lowest. She's still the same Kama who hates love and loves messing with people, but she's by far the most approachable in this form. As for her last form, her adult form is by far the most dangerous form. In this form, she will be much more open, although still reserved about her feelings, but will have an extreme sense of forcefulness, meaning that while the other two forms were teasing you and just messing with you about lust, her adult form will be outright throwing herself at you. She wants to induce lust, love, and broken hearts on all around her, although she herself will never actually participate in it. So, overall, Kama can be worked with so long as you understand your limits. Bringing up the concept of love is a no-no, and even suggesting using her arrow on someone can get you killed. So long as you understand that, there shouldn't be an issue. However, if she manifests in her adult form, you will need to have a lot of self-control, because she will be extremely imposing and aggressive about inducing lust on you. Also, as shown by Fujimaru, while Kama loves fooling around and playing with degenerates, the best way to handle her is to try and keeping yourself under control. The more control you show, the more she'll want to break your resolve, ensuring that she won't grow tired of you and just leave. That said, you shouldn't just give her the cold shoulder and treat it as business. While she'll mock you and belittle you, you need to understand that the Fujimaru approach of being her friend is 100% the best approach to her to ensure that she doesn't turn you into a helpless drone of lust and love. An assassin that's not an assassin. Kama is an assassin class, but the way she fights is that of a hybrid of an archer and a lancer. It's particularly noticeable in her adult form, as she can throw her large spear around while her arms and legs keep shooting an endless barrage at enemies. Third form is completely nuts. Her third form is by far the most powerful form, and that's not even including her noble phantom. The ability to just shoot in all directions at enemies through her arms and legs means that no matter what position she is in, she will always be on the offensive. In addition to this, she also has her big spear with flames to contend. Her third form is an extremely hard form for any servant to approach without getting hit by an endless barrage. First form is weak. Her first form only has her bow. She's still dangerous and strong, however, it's definitely her weakest form. Anti-Mage. Casters and Magus beware. Not only does she have high magic resistance, she also has two skills that grant her immunity to mental interferences. Winning might not mean winning. The Kama that you summon will be the defeated Kama from after Oko. Now, this Kama has kind of given up and accepted her defeat. However, it's uncertain what the possibility of a Holy Grail wish could make her sink, so while she's a defeated Kama that's given up, there's no telling what she might plot if she gets the power of the Grail. Noble Phantom is busted. The ability to make any target just fall into a depraved form of love is terrifying. If used properly, Kama can potentially brainwash enemies into becoming her loyal minions, or even cause backstabs to happen among the enemy ranks. However, as mentioned before, Kama really hates shooting her arrows for the sake of others. Kama is a powerful servant, but perhaps before talking about winning, we should talk about survival. As I mentioned before, this Kama is a defeated Kama who has kind of given up. That means that she's much more approachable and easy to talk with. Kama is not as dangerous as I originally thought she would be, but there's still some dangers with her. Never order Kama to use her Noble Phantom, regardless of her form. Even in her adult form, where she's supposedly fine with it, don't do it. It's best not to risk it. Plus, Kama is powerful enough even without her Noble Phantom. Second, you should try to have her stay in her teenager form. It is her calmest and safest form. While in combat, it's still pretty decent. While her adult form is the strongest in terms of combat power, it is also her most dangerous state. so keep her in her teenage form until you feel like there's a connection and that you can both trust each other. Your goal at this point should be to get to know her as much as possible. Your objective is to have her as an actual friend by the end of the war, as otherwise there's a big chance of her going bananas with the Holy Grail's power. The option of betraying her in the end isn't possible either, as her high magic resistance and independent manifestation makes command seals practically null if she refuses to obey them. So, if you summon her, your only way of survival is the Fujimaru route of becoming her friend, whether you want to or not. With that in mind, what's the best way to use her? Well, her best combat form is her third form, and to be completely honest, aside from anti-divine skills and abilities, her third form should be practically unstoppable. She has decent luck, as well as anti-instant death skills, meaning that even broken noble phantoms like a Volg have little chance of killing her. She has high magic resistance, as well as immunity to mental interferences, making her complete counter to magus, casters, and crafty enemies. She can fight on both range and melee, and her ranged attacks are practically a barrage, meaning that even armies and large monsters can easily be suppressed. Perhaps her one weakness is that she doesn't deal well with servants with high defenses, but the fact that she can easily suppress the fire enemies means that she can also easily target masters while the servants are being pinned down. In addition to that, if she does decide to use her Noble Phantom, she can start creating chaos among the enemy ranks, causing masters to fall in love with other servants, servants in love with other masters. And in cases such as groups like Kenneth in Fate Zero, Kama can really throw a wrench into those cooperations. Basically, if you manage to befriend Kama enough that she's willing to use her Noble Phantom, then she can really turn the Holy Grail War into a real bloodbath of betrayals and backstabs. But that's only her third form, which you should avoid unless you and Kama are in good terms. Of course, this isn't something you have full control over, since Kama can choose to take whichever form she wants. But overall, your goal in the war is to get Kama to use her third form while being in good terms with her. If you manage to do that, then there's very little that can actually stop Kama outside of outright broken Noble Phantoms. Kama is actually quite hard to decide. I came in thinking that she was going to be either an E because she's too dangerous, or an EX because she's too powerful. But she's not as dangerous as I thought she was, and there's actual steps that you need to take to win a war with her. To be completely honest, if you summon her, your worries aren't the war, but it's Kama's opinion of you. If she likes you not a degenerate but as a person, then you're good to go. But if she sees you as a degenerate, then it's pretty much a game over once the war is over. So, I'll give Kama a rank EX. However, I'm only giving her an EX rank because this is Kama after her defeat where she's given up. So it's unlikely that she'll do anything crazy with the Grail unless things really go haywire. Her third form is practically unstoppable if she actually puts effort, and that's something that I just can't ignore. Kama is also someone who loves messing with others, and so a Holy Grail War is a perfect form of entertainment for her. Your only challenge will be in getting her on her good side to prevent any weird shenanigans when you do manage to win the war. And that was Kama, an overall headache to analyze. I'm almost certain that many will still say that she should get an E because she's too dangerous, but I want to believe that she's manageable. All you need is self-control. If at any point she does start threatening you with stabbing her arrow, you should reject her at all costs, but you can already feel safe because she really likes you if she's threatening to stab you with her arrow. Anyway, if you enjoy my content, leave a like and subscribe, and also comment down below any suggestions for a servant that you might want me to cover or a topic that you want me to talk about. This was Holy Grail, and until next time, bye!